What's up, loves? This is Shayla's89, and we're here with another video called My Lucky Boy, Something Scary by Snarled. Again, video will be in the description below, so we're their channel. Let's get started.
My Lucky Boy. The following is based on a story submitted by Jason, told from the point of view of his mother. I always thought my son Jason was lucky. You know, he actually wasn't breathing when I gave birth to him, but after being what the doctor claimed legally dead for almost 5 minutes, he made a miraculous recovery. And ever since then, he's narrowly escaped death countless times. When he was still pretty little, he would choke on his food fairly easily, so I'd always have to watch him closely. There were times when he'd slip out from his high chair despite being securely strapped in. And all those times I was right there to break his fall. I used to joke that Jason had a death wish. I began to really worry about him when he turned about 5. One night, he came running into my room, crying hysterically. "The lady is trying to get me!" "Oh, JC, it's okay. You were probably just having a bad dream, that's all." And it went on like this for the rest of the week. He refused to sleep alone in his room. Eventually, he also became afraid during the day. I would catch him muttering to himself, "Please go away." "Who are you talking to, JC?" "The lady. She won't leave me alone." Having nightmares was pretty common for a kid his age, and so was having imaginary friends. But I was starting to really worry about his mental health. He was losing sleep, he wouldn't eat. I could just feel him slowly falling apart. So I took him to a child psychiatrist. I watched from afar as Jason told the doctor about the woman who was tormenting him day and night. The doctor handed him some crayons and paper and told him to draw what the woman looked like. When Jason was done, he handed the paper to the doctor, who was visibly startled. He gestured for me to come outside the room with him to talk.
Ouch.
"I think there's a chance your child might be suffering from schizophrenia," he said. My heart dropped. "I'd like to do some more tests with him if that's all right with you." "So you think..."
Mind you, she's getting this from a medical standpoint, like view. She's not seeing this from other views, just the medical, and that's what she's going by at the moment.
"Everything he's been talking about is just a hallucination?" The doctor handed me the paper with Jason's drawing. I too was startled. My son had drawn what appeared to be a tall, thin woman with no eyes and blood dripping down from the top of her head. Her lips were completely torn off, exposing her rotting and chipped teeth. If this is who he saw every day, no wonder he was so horrified. Later that day, I called my sister. We didn't live in the same state, but we were really close and always kept in touch with each other. I was updating her on Jason, about his freaky drawing, and what the doctor said. My sister was quiet for a moment.
"Sis, I know you don't really believe in this stuff,"
my sister said very carefully.
"but how open are you to finding a more non-medical evaluation?"
What the hell did that mean? She then proceeded to give me the
Non-medical, that means priest, fortune teller, well, not fortune teller, psychic, medium, God, Jesus. What do you think, honey?
the phone number of a woman named Lana and told me to set an appointment with her as soon as possible. So that weekend, I brought Jason with me to see my sister's psychic. She was right. I didn't really believe in this sort of thing, but my sister offered to pay for the appointment, so I figured it wouldn't hurt just to see what this woman had to say. I was determined to get my son the help he needed. When we arrived at Lana's house, she greeted us at the door. She looked like she was in her 30s. Her suit was perfectly tailored to her body. Her black hair was flawlessly pulled back in a bun. She welcomed us into her home with a warm smile. I've never been to a psychic's house before, but Lana's place didn't look at all like what I was expecting it to look like. It was kind of normal. Very chic, actually. No crystal balls or animal parts in jars. Just clean, modern decor. She motioned for us to join her in the spotless living room. "You have a very lovely home," I blurted out. "Oh, thank you so much. There's just so much noise in my head that it helps to have a living space that doesn't add to the chaos." Lana looked into Jason's eyes. "And you must be Jason." She continued to stare deeply and curiously into his eyes. And the longer she stared, the more
Hold on. Okay, you're still picking me up. Hello? Alright. I myself to get a new camera. That's what I do.
faded, her smile became. "Have you ever had a near-death experience, Jason?" He shook his head, but I interjected. "Funny you asked that. He's actually had several."
Why would you ask a little boy if he had any near-death experience when he wouldn't know? He's 5 years old. He wouldn't know anything during birth and when he was younger, like really young. He wouldn't know that. So it would be easier to ask the mother that question. Just
From the moment he was born. What can I say? He's a lucky boy. But Lana's face made it clear that she did not agree with that statement. I usually try to break information delicately for my clients, but I think I need to be frank with you. When Jason died that first time, his soul was in another dimension, and while he was there, a woman found him and decided that she wanted him to be her son. Then when Jason was resuscitated, she was left alone, and she's been trying to reunite with him ever since. This was not in any way what I had expected to hear. My sister had once told me the theory that when people have a near-death experience, they gain contact with the spirit world. But I didn't think that was true. Okay.
so basically like an Insidious moment. Except in Insidious, the boy was unconscious. He went through a coma. His soul, whatever, astral projected to another dimension, and the people that were in that dimension was trying to come into his area. Where this demon creature, whatever, wants to come into this dimension to take what was hers when the little boy died for the 5 minutes, and then take him back.
Okay, so how do we get rid of her? How do we stop her from terrorizing my son? Lana shrugged. You already know what she wants. We left shortly after that. I texted my sister that she wasted her money on a fraud. I decided that we were going to...
Was she really a fraud? Because she was telling you what needed to happen. Either you medicate him for schizophrenia, or you find other helps in non-medical areas. So basically, she's trying to tell you either give the son, either give your boy up, because you're either fighting a losing battle, or medicate him so he can try to forget. But either way, she's coming for him.
Continue the evaluation with the child psychiatrist and go about this the right way. Later that night, Jason asked to sleep in the bed with me, like usual. But in the middle of the night, I woke up to a tapping on my shoulder. Jason was standing by the bed, looking down on me. His face was incredibly calm. JC, is everything okay? I just wanted to say goodbye, Mommy. Goodbye? Where are you going? With new Mommy. He gestured behind him, and for the first time, I saw her. The woman in his drawing.
And Jason, you okay with going with that? Cause I'd be creeped out. But, okay.
Don't worry, Mommy. I'm not scared anymore. The woman held out her hand, and Jason walked over to her. I lunged out of bed and tried to grab him, but just as I reached him, he was gone. Just like that. I was a wreck. But after the reality of what had just happened sank in, I oddly felt relieved to know that he was no longer scared or suffering. I just wish I could have saved him. Just one more time.
Did you even try? Did you even try? You said you grabbed for him and then you just noticed he tried to disappear. If you was knowing he was leaving, you should have just tried to grab him before he even tried to leave. And then you said you were wrecked, so when reality set in, you were calm. So you were okay with this creature taking your son. Because you knew he was not suffering and not scared anymore. Okay. Alright, I mean, what? So, that was my lucky boy. I don't know if I want to call you some lucky, but I mean, he is lucky for surviving so much. But I don't know how lucky, if you get my drift. And you, mother, you could have tried a little harder instead of trying to save your son, because you regretted at the fact that you didn't try to save him at least one more time. But I don't know if you came to the reality that if you tried to save him, he would still be here, suffering. Well, I don't know really about suffering, but you know, scared, I guess, and trying to figure out what's going on, I guess. But anyway, tell me what y'all thought about the story in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Snarled. The video will be in the description below. Hit that notification bell hit the notification bell for when I post, and hit that like button. Bye guys.
This sound like what? 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 This